What happens when you masturbate too much? Let's be honest, gentlemen. Most men won't talk about this. You might wonder quietly, am I doing it too much? Maybe you've noticed that lately you feel drained, unfocused, or strangely restless after finishing. You tell yourself it's just a normal release, something you've done your whole life, but deep down you sense something has changed. What once felt like a moment of relief now leaves you with guilt, fatigue, and that hollow emptiness that just won't go away. I'm Dr. Laura, and if you're over 50, this message is especially for you. I've worked with countless men who thought their private habits were harmless, until they realized those habits were slowly rewiring their brain, weakening their drive, and eroding their confidence. And I want to make something crystal clear from the start. This isn't about shame or judgment. This is about awareness. Understanding how a once innocent habit can quietly reshape your mental, emotional, and even hormonal balance. Science now shows that overstimulation, especially when paired with high-speed digital content, can desensitize your reward system. That means your brain starts needing more intensity to feel less pleasure. The dopamine hits become smaller, your focus gets worse, and your motivation to chase real goals, business, fitness, relationships, fades without you even noticing. You might still get through your day, but your spark? It's dimmer. Here's the good news. The moment you recognize the pattern, you can reverse it. Awareness is the first step toward reclaiming your energy, your confidence, and your connection to real intimacy. This isn't about giving something up. It's about taking back control of your biology. So before we dive deeper, hit like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments so I can help you directly. Because today we're going to uncover what really happens when you masturbate too much, how it impacts your body, your mood, and even your relationships. And more importantly, how you can rebuild from it. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll understand why the key to feeling younger, stronger, and more centered might not be in what you add, but in what you stop overdoing. Most men don't realize when a harmless habit quietly turns into a dependency. It doesn't happen overnight. Start small. Maybe once a day, then twice, then every time stress hits or boredom creeps in. It becomes your go-to escape, your private reward system. And the tricky part? Your brain actually rewards you for repeating it. Every release floods your brain with dopamine, the chemical of pleasure and motivation. But here's the problem. The more you chase that quick hit, the more your brain starts down-regulating, producing less dopamine naturally. That means what used to feel exciting now feels dull. You need stronger stimulation, longer sessions, riskier content, just to reach the same level of satisfaction. Over time, your mind learns that pleasure is just a screen away, while real-life intimacy feels like effort. The habit that once relieved your stress now quietly rewires your brain to crave instant gratification and avoid emotional connection. I've spoken with men who confess that after years of overstimulation, they couldn't enjoy real sex anymore. Not because their body failed them, but because their brain couldn't respond. The reward system had been hijacked. And the result? Chronic fatigue, brain fog, low motivation, and that silent erosion of masculine confidence. For men over 50, the impact runs even deeper. Your testosterone is already declining naturally, about 1% per year after your 40s. When you pair that with constant dopamine depletion, your brain and body both struggle to maintain balance. It's like draining your energy battery faster than it can recharge. You may start noticing your workouts feel heavier, your sleep feels shallow, and your moods swing for no reason. Here's the truth. You can't out-train or out-supplement a brain that's burnt out from overstimulation. You can drink all the protein shakes you want. But if your dopamine system is exhausted, your drive, your focus, even your joy will fade. But awareness changes everything. Once you see the cycle, you can interrupt it. And that's exactly what we'll start to do in the next part. Because the damage isn't permanent. Your brain can heal, your hormones can stabilize, and your confidence can return. Stay with me, because next we'll dive into how overmasturbation affects your emotions, your relationships, and your sense of self. Let's talk about the part no one likes to admit. The emotional cost. When you masturbate too much, you don't just deplete your body. You slowly reshape your emotional landscape. You might start noticing subtle signs. You feel more irritable, less patient, more disconnected from the people around you. What once felt like relief now feels like routine or worse, guilt. For many men, especially those over 50, that guilt isn't just psychological. It's biological. When your brain's reward system is hijacked by constant stimulation, it blunts your ability to feel normal levels of joy from everyday life. That's why so many men describe feeling numb. Not depressed exactly, just flat. Coffee doesn't hit like it used to. Music doesn't move you. Even small victories feel meaningless. It's not that you've lost passion. It's that your brain has stopped registering pleasure in the same way. Here's what often happens next. Your brain, craving that missing dopamine, pushes you right back toward the behavior that caused the problem in the first place. You masturbate again to feel better. You get the short dopamine spike. Then the crash hits harder. The emptiness deepens. It's a cycle of temporary pleasure and long-term depletion. I've seen men describe this like emotional quicksand. They say, "Dr. Laura, it's like I can't feel satisfied anymore. Not in my marriage, not in my work, not even in myself." That's because chronic overstimulation rewires your motivation pathways. Instead of chasing real rewards, connection, purpose, progress, your brain learns to settle for the easy ones. Comfort, fantasy, release. And if you've ever caught yourself skipping a workout, ignoring your partner, or zoning out at work because of those habits, that's not weakness. That's neurochemistry. But once you understand that, you can take back control. Gentlemen, I know this may sound heavy, but I want you to hear this. You're not broken. You're just unbalanced, and balance can be restored. Your emotions, your energy, even your spark for life can reignite when you stop outsourcing your pleasure to a screen. In the next part, I'll show you exactly how to start that recovery. We'll reframe your relationship with your body and rebuild the connection between desire, discipline, and drive. Because your manhood isn't defined by what you avoid. It's defined by what you choose to rise above. The truth is, healing from overstimulation isn't about guilt, punishment, or trying to never touch yourself again. It's about retraining your brain to find pleasure in what's real. That starts with understanding one simple idea. Your sexual energy isn't a problem, it's power. But like any power source, it needs direction. When you stop chasing instant gratification, that same energy begins to fuel other parts of your life. Within just a few weeks, men report feeling sharper at work, more focused during workouts, even more patient with their partners. That's not magic, that's neuroplasticity. Your brain literally rebuilds new reward circuits once you stop flooding it with artificial dopamine. Here's how you start. Step 1. Create friction. Don't make it easy to slip back into old habits. Delete apps, clear your history, move your phone out of reach at night. Make your environment serve your goals. Step 2. Replace, don't just remove. Your brain needs new sources of reward, things that still trigger dopamine but in healthy ways. Cold showers, morning sunlight, strength training, meaningful work, deep breathing, real connection. Each time you choose one of these, your dopamine system recalibrates. Step 3. Forgive yourself. You're not weak for falling into this habit. You were simply using the tools available to cope with loneliness, boredom, or stress. But now you know better, and knowledge without action is just regret. Step 4. Track your wins. Every day that you redirect your energy is a day your brain heals. Write it down. Celebrate it. Notice how your mood, confidence, and clarity start coming back. Small victories matter. This isn't about becoming a monk. It's about becoming intentional. When you master your urges, you master your focus. When you master your focus, you master your life. Remember, gentlemen, your body wants to heal. Your brain wants balance. And the moment you commit to this process, everything begins to change, from your hormones to your confidence in the mirror. In the final part, I'll give you a simple 30-day plan to reset your system, rebuild your energy, and reignite that natural confidence you thought was gone forever. Because transformation doesn't take years. It starts the moment you decide enough is enough. Here's the part one love most, because this is where real change begins. I've seen countless men, even those who felt trapped in the same cycle for years, completely reset their energy, focus, and confidence in just 1 month by following what I call the 30-day reconnection challenge. The idea is simple. We're not just trying to stop a habit. We're teaching your brain how to feel alive again without relying on artificial dopamine. You're rewiring your reward system, rebuilding your stamina, and reawakening your masculinity. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Week 1. Awareness and detox. You can't fix what you refuse to face. For the first 7 days, don't try to force discipline. Just notice. When does the urge hit? Morning, boredom, stress, loneliness? Write it down. Awareness is power. It shifts you from reacting to observing. The goal this week is simple. Interrupt the automatic loop. You'll probably feel restless, maybe a little empty, but that's okay, your brain is detoxing. Move your body, take cold showers, and get to bed early. Remember, this discomfort is the sound of healing. Week 2. Reclaim your energy. Now we channel what you've been wasting into something productive. Physical activity is your best ally here. Lift weights, take long walks, stretch, get sunlight on your skin. Replace that 30 minutes of temptation with a workout, reading, or journaling. Every time you resist the old impulse and choose movement or creation instead, your brain rewires. Your dopamine begins to normalize. You'll start to notice better sleep, deeper focus, and more natural confidence returning. Week 3. Reconnect with reality. This week, rediscover the pleasure of real life. Cook your own meals, talk to real people, laugh without screens. If you have a partner, reconnect with them. Emotionally, not just physically. Real intimacy begins with presence. Look them in the eyes, touch their hand, share your thoughts. When you stop feeding your brain fake novelty, simple moments become thrilling again. You'll start to realize that your body was never the problem. Disconnection was. Week 4. Reflect and recommit. By the final week, you'll feel a noticeable shift. More energy, more purpose, more control. But don't mistake progress for permanence. The old pathways will still try to pull you back. This is the time to reinforce your identity. You're no longer a man chasing relief. You're a man creating results. Reflect on what triggered you, what habits helped most, and what still needs work. Then recommit for another 30 days. True mastery comes from repetition, not intensity. Gentlemen, if you've made it this far, you're already ahead of 90% of men your age. You've faced something that most people spend a lifetime avoiding. The truth. And once you face it, everything changes. I've watched men who thought their best years were behind them suddenly come alive again. Sharper at work, stronger in the gym, and more connected to the women they love. I'm Dr. Laura, and my mission is to help men like you reclaim control of your body and your mind. If this message spoke to you, hit like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're ready to take this further, check the pinned comment for the full step-by-step video guide to the 30-day reconnection challenge. Give it 30 days. Watch your clarity return, your focus sharpen, and your confidence grow stronger than it's been in years. Because once you stop chasing pleasure and start building purpose, you don't just heal your mind, you rebuild your life.